a surprise. Normally in big-time events, the riders are consulted before any kind of water is being put down, but the Wembley track this evening really has caused quite a lot of comment and amazement from the crowd here, of capacity crowd, the dusty conditions. Here they are watering. Barry Briggs, what does this mean? This is going to make things very sticky out there.
Yes, Dave, it's been very dodgy when it's been dry, but now they've put the water on so late, it's going to be very, very slippery, and I can see that it's going to make a very, very hard ride for these next riders coming out in the next heat.
Heat number 6, and this is the one where it all should start happening. On the inside, Ollie Olsen. Next to him we have John Louis, 2 points from his first ride. Edward Jankarts in grid 3, and Ivan Major on the outside. So the two favourites, Olsen on the inside, Major on the outside in heat 6, and those are the grids to watch. Though John Louis' no mug in grid 2. Heat 6, what a bundle of firecrackers is it going to be? Major, tremendous tension. Major again, this time they're away, and it's Olsen from the inside and Major from the outside. Major going very, very wide indeed, but it's Olsen who has made the start in this crucial heat 6. Olsen leads, Major is second, Louis is third. It really is getting icy and dicey down there on the fourth corner, and now Louis has come up to start buzzing on Major's back wheel in second place, and Ivan Major in terrible trouble, and under him comes John Louis. Ivan Major, the favourite, back in third place and going backwards steadily. Ollie Olsen it is. In second place it's England's John Louis. In third place Ivan Major. And heat 6 has seen the surprises and sensations come thick and fast. They're into their last lap, but Ivan Major not at all happy. He missed the start. He got into terrible trouble on the second lap. John Louis stood on no ceremony, flew underneath him. But Olsen unconcerned, looking for his second title, and Louis in a little bit of bother on the last corner. Major's making life just a bit sticky for him, but Louis held on for second place. Olsen wins it. Louis is second. Major is third. Is that the new world champion, Barry Briggs?
Yes, Ollie had the good start. He made the start. Ivan was in contention for the first lap, but he fell on the trap of trying too hard, which allowed John Louis to pass him as well. And it's definitely a big thing for Ollie now. He's clear of Ivan, but there's still Crump, and it's still a very open World Championship.
After 2 rides in the 75 World Final from Wembley, that is the state of the parties. Leading the field, the Australian champion Phil Crump, Peter Collins and Ollie Olsen unbeaten with 6 points. In joint 4th place there we have Malcolm Simmons, Ivan Major and John Louis, with Anders Michnik now creeping back into the picture, all on 4 points apiece. Heat 9, and this one does really promise to be a ton of TNT, because we have the unbeaten Phil Crump and Peter Collins in this one. We have Ivan Major, who's only been beaten once, and to 3rd place, so he's on 4 points, and we have Anders Michnik, the reigning world champion, also on 4 points. The track's just been watered. Barry, how is it going to affect this race, such an important race in the 75 championship?
You've got the best riders here, Dave. I don't think it'll make a lot of difference, but you can look at this every different way and come up with different permutations each time. I think Ivan's got the best start. He's dropped a couple of points. He probably wants to prove that that was bad luck or something else, and it's going to be a great race, and it's going to be a fabulous first corner to watch.
So here we go. There it is from the inside. Ivan Major from New Zealand on 4 points. Next to him, Sweden's Anders Michnik also on 4. On the outside grids, Phil Crump in white, unbeaten on 6 points. And on the far outside of the striped helmet with the Cross of St George proudly on his chest, unbeaten Englishman Peter Collins. Heat 9, there's Major on the inside. Tremendous tension, absolutely electric as they come under starters' orders in Heat 9. Let's watch them up to the first corner. And this time they are away, and it's Major from the inside, and Collins coming right around the outside, but he's seen to hit a wet patch, and he's gone right back into last place. Coming through on the inside, down in the front is Michnik. Michnik leads, Major is second, and 3rd place it's Crump, and at the back it's Collins. After a quite incredible first corner, Michnik is not giving up his crown very easily. What an upset this has been. Collins is battling, but he's right at the back, and the crowd are broken-hearted for him. Michnik leads. In second place, it is Major. Crump is 3rd. Collins hasn't given up battling yet. Major in second place. The real battles in the minor positions here. And as Michnik has ridden a superb race here, he came belting through on lap 1. So last lap now, and this looks like the end of the hopes of Peter Collins unless something sensational happens. Michelik leads, Major is second, Crump is third. It'll be a disappointment for him as well. Collins is still battling so hard, he's trying to go around the outside of Crump, he's not going to do it. Michelik wins it, second is Major, third is Crump, and Collins broken-hearted at the back. Barry Briggs, what about heat 9?
And from the inside we see Ivan Major. He's a little bit slow on the actual movement. He moves out much quicker. He's on the inside, and watch right on the outside. Peter Collins making a heroic chance around the outside on the first corner, and about halfway round you'll note that he's a little bit too wide. He gets a bit of dirt and goes from a very fighting first place back to last. Major's down on the inside now. Michelik's on the inside of Major. He's coming back up the inside. Collins has gone too wide. You can see him right on the outside of the track there. The other three riders coming through. Major up the inside and Michelik up the inside of him, and there's Peter's chances of a world champion going down the drain right there.
Well, there we have Peter Collins, number 11. Really was something to say. He looks absolutely heartbroken, and who can blame him? Well, there we can see night falling very quickly over Empire Stadium with our track lights there. We've expected the floodlights to be on. They haven't gone on. We're expecting them on again any moment now to augment the lighting and give us a better view of racing here at Empire Stadium. So, heat 11 with the unbeaten Ole Olsen going into the outside grid. There we have in frame Bernie Persson. You can see Olsen's up at the tapes already. Olsen on the outside. Let's look at his opposition. On the inside, we have Tommy Janssen from Sweden on 3 points. Next to him, we have Zenon Plek from Poland in grid 2. He's got 2 points. So has Bernie Persson in grid 3. But Olsen, with the eyes of Wembley upon him, there is Ole Olsen with the yellow and black striped helmet. Unbeaten on 6 points, looking for a win here. A win here would really establish him at the top of this championship chase. So let's watch Olsen from the outside in heat 11, and what a beautiful start. Oh yes, a superb start from Ole Olsen. He leads in second place. It is Plek from Poland. In third place it's Persson. And at the back, rather surprisingly, is Tommy Janssen. But Ole Olsen has Plek gets into terrible trouble there on the 4th corner and leaves a hole for Persson to go diving through. He's getting pretty tight there. Out goes Zenon Plek into the fence. What a follow-up again. Wow. But he hit it once, he did it again, and he is down, and he looks as though he has hurt himself. He's still on the track. The lights haven't come on. I hope the boys stay in. They've got to move in a bit closer to the curve. Zenon Plek lying down there. Your FIM referee Todd Kittleson from Norway has not stopped it, and now he has. The red lights come on, and Wembley in turmoil.
Yes, we see Zenon Plek on the outside. He got in terrible trouble at the corners. Bernd Persson's got up the inside of him, coming down the straight. Persson now goes roaring into the corner. He doesn't hold his line. It pushes Plek out wide. You can see Plek now's missing the corner. He's steering the wrong direction. He's going out into the fence. He's going to hit the fence. He's on the wrong portion of the track. He's going straight into the fence now. He backs into the fence, which is the right way of doing it, but it picks him up, throws him into the fence forward. He looks as though he's going to come back out of it, but now he's dropping back right into the fence. It somersaults him backwards, and that's the end of Zenon Plek's ride in this particular race.
Well, there we have it. The proof that Speedway riders are made out of steel. Zenon Plek, we just saw the victim of that very painful-looking pile-up, up on his feet, walking back to the pits, apparently none the worse for wear. So only 3 starters, rerun of heat 11. Let's watch Olsen again. Can he do the start again? Yes, he can. Into the first corner for the Great Dane, Ole Olsen. He leads in second place. It is Persson. In third place, it is Janssen. So now an all-Scandinavian battle in heat number 11. Of course, Olsen unbeaten at the moment, looking in particularly fine fettle. Barry Briggs, Olsen really looks in command. Does this seem to you to be his second championship year?
Yes, I think Dave, having a rerun of that race race could have been harmful to Ollie because he was so far in the lead. The rerun, he made no mistake again. He looks well settled in, and it's going to take a good rider to pass him now.
And the battle warming up for second place here between the two Swedes, Ben Pearson from Crowley Heath in the Golf World British League, and Tommy Janssen coming through as neat as you like there on the bottom corner. Tommy Janssen moves into second place. Pearson is in third and dropping back now. But you can see that Ole Olsen has stretched into such a convincing lead in Heat 11. This will mean 3 wins, 3 unbeaten rides for Olsen, and that's impressive form to go into the interval. Olsen wins it on 9 points now. Ole Olsen, the Great Dane from Wolverhampton, now looking every inch the new world champion, but he's still got 2 rides, and as we've seen here at Wembley this year, anything can happen. The position after 3 rides at Wembley, and what a fascinating picture. Well in the lead, Ole Olsen on 9 points after 3 starts, but just look at this battle for second and third place. Phil Crump 7, Malcolm Simmons 7, Anders Michenek 7, John Louis all on 7, and by no means out of the picture, Ivan Major and Peter Collins on 6 points apiece. Track preparation continues. This is the shell left by the track grader. We better explain just what is happening here. When the grader leaves the track, they up the actual grading part of the equipment, and that dumps all the spare shell. And then we have all our nice little men in white coats, and they are not grading finer grains, they are grading Wembley Speedway track. But it does leave a very sticky patch, and it isn't so funny for the riders who hit it. So Heat 15, and an awful lot at stake in Heat 15, because we have 3 riders who are all very, very much in touch with the second and third place. And Olsen, of course, a long way in front of this 75 World Championship. But Anders Michenek, you can see the scores there on the right-hand side in Heat 15. Michenek from Sweden on the inside, the best position perhaps, on 7 points. Next to him, Bernd Pearson out of contention on 3 points. Then we have 2 Englishmen, John Louis and Malcolm Simmons, in grids 3 and 4 respectively, and they're both on 7 points as well. So the winner of this one really can start thinking about a place in the first 3, and anybody who finishes last here can say bye-bye to any hopes of getting amongst the big prize money in the 75 World Final. So on the inside it's Michenek, next to him Pearson, then Louis in grid 3, Simmons on the outside, and it's John Louis at the moment who's trying to play the psychological tricks and weaving about there at the start now. Reigning world champion Michenek goes back and says, anything you can do, I can do better. They're coming into line. Who's going to make the jump? Heat 15 underway, and it is in fact the rider in blue, Pearson, who made the start. Michenek reared a bit, Louis has gone wide, Simmons is at the back, and it's the 2 Swedes as Louis comes under Pearson going into the pit corner. Louis through to second place, Simmons has found a hole there as well, but it's Michenek in front, and back comes Pearson under Simmons for the 3rd place. So Michenek leads, in second place is Louis, in third place now just is Bernd Pearson, and at the back Simmons. So most eventful Heat 15, they've been jockeying around, chopping and changing positions, but Anders Michenek, the world champion from Sweden and Reading, determined not to give up his crown without quite a battle. He leads, Michenek in front, Louis is second. In third place now Simmons has got back under Pearson, so the positions are still changing, but now they seem to be spaced out. This race seems to be settling down, and it seems to mean at this stage that Anders Michenek is going to be in a very favourable position for a place in the first 3 at the very least. Louis still making a brave run as they go over the line. But quite an interesting first corner. It all really happened up to the first corner and round it. Michenek emerged from quite a monstrous sort of hairy first corner. From then on, he didn't make a mistake. Anders Michenek, reigning world champion, moves into double figures, 10 points, and he must be thinking about a place in the first 3 very seriously now.
Watch this start. Michenek is on the inside of the track, closest to us. He actually rears off the start. When he comes down a little bit crooked. He's got to close the throttle. He goes back to the last position, but just watch this for a great first corner by Michenek. Everybody else is in there ahead of him. He drops in very, very hard. He turns very sharply in the first part of the corner. The rest seem to race away from him, but they're on the wrong line, and you'll watch this as Michnik powers through his both wheels in line, and he comes out of this corner coming from last to first in the first corner. A great corner by Michnik, and it puts him back in the running for a place on the tractor.
Heat 16 coming to the line, and there we have the very tall, muscular figure in the yellow and black helmet of Viktor Trofimov, one of these surprise packets in this year's World Championship from the Soviet Union. Viktor Trofimov just practicing stars and juggling around on the outside there. He retired from big-time Speedway a couple of years ago, as far as we in the West were concerned. He came back, he very, very bravely indeed got through Poland to get through after a first heat disqualification. So let's have a look at the lineup. On the inside, Zenon-Plek from Poland. Next to him, Ivan Major on 6 points, still looking for points, still in with a chance of getting a place in the first three. Then we have the two Russians, Valery Gordeev, and on the outside, Viktor Trofimov. And quite frankly, in Heat 16, the roof, I'm sure, would fall off the Wembley Stadium stands if Ivan Major makes a mess of this one, because the Eastern Europeans not really, in all honesty, in contention with the big-time boys. And this is perhaps the biggest of them all. Ivan Major, let's watch his start against the Eastern Europeans. Quite beautifully. Plek on the inside there in terrible trouble. Coming around the outside, it's Trofimov. But Ivan Major stretching into a lead as Viktor Trofimov from the Soviet Union goes bustling and hustling up under his back wheel there on the pit's corner. Trofimov's a battler. Ivan can't afford to go to sleep here because he has got a Rusky on his tail, and he's a Rusky who doesn't know when he's beaten. He cuts the gate there. It's getting pretty tight. Major leads, Trofimov riding a very brave race here and making Ivan Major really sing for his supper. Major leads, here comes Trofimov going out wide, trying to lock back, but Ivan really is the master. He seems to have eyes in the back of his helmet, and he's stretching into a bit of a lead. Barry Briggs, Ivan looked to be in a bit of trouble there for a couple of laps, but I think he's got it sewn up now, don't you?
Yes, as soon as he stayed on the line and Trofimov tried a little bit round the outside, that would give Ivan a break, and he's got a lead now. I think Trofimov won't break down.
So Major leads. In second place is Trofimov. In third place is Zenon-Plek in red. Nice to see him back after that spectacular argument with the safety fence in his last ride. He's a very long way behind Ivan Major here. Major across the line, the winner of Heat 16, rather as we expected. In second place, Trofimov after a bit of a buzz and a dabble for a couple of laps, and in third place it was Plek from Poland. 4 rides apiece. That is the position at the top of the 75 World Championship. Ole Olsen clearly the leader, unbeaten after 4 super starts on 12 points. Anders Michnik, reigning champion, creeping up into second place with 10, and the battle really on for third place now with John Louis, Peter Collins and Ivan Major all on 9 points each. Heat 17, and an important one for that rider there, the rider in the yellow and black striped helmet, John Louis from Ipswich and England, because he's on 9 points, and a win here will at least guarantee him of a run-off for third place in the 75 World Championship. But the rider to watch is big danger Phil Crump. He's on 8 points, so if he wins this one, he too might just creep into the fray. The other 2 riders in grid 2, Tommy Janssen, and in grid 3, Viktor Trofimov from the Soviet Union, and neither of those are mugs on. They're both on 7 points, so a very, very interesting Heat 17 coming up with Shore. And away they go this time, and it's in grid 2, Janssen that shows. Louis coming round the outside line there. Will he get round it? Nobody's managed it yet, but Louis has done it that time quite beautifully. Louis leads in second place. It is Tommy Janssen. In third place it's Crump. At the back it's Trofimov. Louis leads and Trofimov is making a terrible dive underneath Crump there. Louis getting pretty close at the back. And in fact, Janssen made the most diabolical corner there while we were zooming in on the battle for third and fourth places. Janssen made a terrible corner which has allowed Phil Crump to come through into second place. Trofimov is now third and Janssen's now at the back. It's all happening in heat number 17. Here we go. Something like 7,500, and now Trofimov has gone down, and into the fence has gone Janssen on the big corner, and it looked to me as though his machine packed up, or perhaps his handlebars snapped. But what an eventful race for Tommy Janssen. Made the start, made a diabolical corner, got past, fell off. He's on his feet anyway as John Louis rushes by quite unconcerned to win Heat 17 and guarantee himself at least a run-off for third place. He wins it. Crump is second, Trofimov is third, Heat 17 with lots and lots of eventful speedway. So we come into heat number 20, and really it all rests. The one race in the world of Speedway in 1975 that it is all about, because we have Ole Olsen in heat 20 on 12 points, and just a second place in this race will be good enough to bring him the crown for the second time. Remember, he won it in Gothenburg in 1971. But he has some pretty tough opposition. There we have Ole Olsen, just a second place needed in heat 20 to win the 75 World Crown. And the red helmet there, the darker coloured helmet on the inside of him, looking like some old jousting knight from medieval times in their face masks and visors. We have Malcolm Simmons on 8 points. But Olsen is certainly not going to have everything his own way in heat 20, because Peter Collins, he'll be the rider in white. We haven't got him in picture yet. Peter Collins is on 9 points, so a win here will put him on 12, which will mean he will go in a run-off with Ivan Major and John Louis for third place. So a fascinating situation as we come into heat 20. The big crunch race in World Speedway in 1975. We have got there Malcolm Simmons from England. He's bound to help his England teammate Collins if he can shut out Olsen, he'll do it, I'm sure. That's the lineup. Simmons on the inside, Olsen needing a second place to win the world title. Collins is going to be in grid 3, needing a win to go into a runoff for third place, and Valery Gordea from the USSR on the outside, and really we've a bit forgotten about him. Heat 20 coming up. Well, what can happen here? Olsen can win the world title, Collins can get into the frame if he tries, so a really most vital race this time. A tremendous race in prospect. Let's watch Ole Olsen in grid 2 and Collins in grid 3. Are we going to see the new world champion in heat 20? It's all between Olsen and Collins, and it's Olsen that's got the start. Olsen leads, Collins is in second place, Simmons has come through, and Collins again with a dreadful match in the first corner. But Ole Olsen is in front and on his way to World Championship glory, almost for sure. Just listen to this capacity Wembley crowd, hailing a tremendous rider as Simmons and Collins are a real dice up for second place. But it looks like Collins' chances of a place in the frame are disappearing by the yard, because he's not making any ground on Simmons, and he certainly isn't on the rider in front, Ole Olsen, who looks like he's going to win the world title with an absolutely impeccable maximum. Time to look over his shoulder. Barry Briggs, this man is poetry in motion.
Yes, he's riding the best course tonight, Dave. He's got it well sewn up, and barring machine trouble, Ollie's got to be the new world champion, and he's certainly ridden like it tonight.
But he's on his last lap now. Here he comes, and let's just let the crowd at Wembley take over to salute the new Speedway champion of the world, Ole Olsen of Wolverhampton in Denmark, and here he comes now. Is worth 1,000 words, so they say. And there's Olsen with his Danish mechanic and Greaser there, and they're absolutely delighted, and I'm quite sure there's going to be a reception committee waiting for him back at the pit gate in just a moment or two for the traditional World Championship bumps. Olsen triumphant, Olsen magnificent, Olsen the new world champion, and let's see what the boys do to him in just a moment or two. They're waiting. There is Ivan Major, the man who taught him so much up at Newcastle so many years ago. He's the first there, and up he goes, and again. Jubilant scenes at Wembley as we salute a new world champion and a quite superb World Speedway champion at that. Ole Olsen's still getting hugged. It must be tougher there than he's been out there racing all night. So there is John Louis. This is the runoff for third place in the 1975 World Championship. We have an Englishman in contention for a place for the first time since 1962. There's a chance of an Englishman getting a place in the first three in the world individual type championship chase. There he is, John Louis. The last Englishman to win the title was Peter Craven in '62, and we haven't had a rider in the frame since then. So John Louis looking to end a very long and unhappy sequence for English Speedway. But he is facing the old fox, the old master, Ivan Major of match races. Barry Briggs very quickly. Ivan's experience must tell here, surely.
It must give him a slight edge. He's got won the toss. He's taken the inside. I think he'll stick right on the inside, round the bumps, and I'd make the harder going for John.
So it's Major on the inside, the 4 times world champion, the old maestro of match races on the inside. John Louis on the outside. This is the runoff for third place in the Sunday Mirror-sponsored World Speedway Championship final. Major hanging back. They had a bit of an argument over Ipswich a couple of nights ago about starting techniques, and it's Louis from the outside. Louis for England, and the English crowd are going absolutely wild. He's got into a tremendous lead. Just look at that lead inside a lap. Phenomenal. And Louis is going for his life. He is going like a steam train. He's built up, what, 50 lengths on Ivan Major in a lap, and that really must be travelling some. John Louis from Ipswich and England, leading Ivan Major and looking all set to become the first Englishman since 1962 to get a place in the first 3 in a Wembley World Final or any World Final anywhere in the world. And the English crowd are going to love this. We were looking for a champion. We haven't got one, but we're going to get a third place man unless he does something very silly on this last lap of this bumpy, rocky Wembley circuit here for the 75 World Final. John Louis round the last corner. The Ipswich crowd will absolutely tear the place apart as he goes over the line. Just listen to them. Louis wins it. Major a long way back, but a great sportsman right to the end. Says well done. But John Louis it is who gets up into the frame. The first Englishman for a very, very long time to get such a high placing. Barry Briggs very quickly. John Louis really deserves a place in the first 3, doesn't he?
Yeah, super ride, Dave. Off the outside start, Ivan changed his tactics, went to the outside in the first corner, lost a lot of ground, and that was it. John just pulled away to an easy third place. Well done, John.
Well, to the victor the spoils. There's Oli's wife, that's Ula. She was a former nurse, and I noticed tonight she was wearing blue because I can remember at a former world final when Oli had a lot of bad luck, she was wearing green, and he said never again. And there she is wearing blue. Superstition it may be, but it's paid off for Oli. And there he is, the world master at Speedway Racing. New world champion. Tell me, you look terrific, you look very happy. How do you feel right now?
I feel very, very good, Dave. It's been tremendous, and especially this for me. It's always been my dream to win a World Speedway final here at Wembley. And as you probably know, I had a bit of bad luck, I think, in the European Championships here a couple of times, and the World Championship in '72. So I'm very, very pleased that I won it this year, and I really feel on top of the world.
Oli, can I ask you, when did you really think the title was in your grasp? After that second race when you beat Ivan Major?
No, I never thought on that at all. I was very conscious of this, that I had to meet Malcolm Simmons and Peter Collins in my last race. So I never thought that the title was mine before I won that last race.
And Oli, from where we were sitting up here, the track looked a bit grotty. What's the opinions of the new world champion of the Wembley track tonight?
The track was I would expect it to be in a world championship, but it's hard to say that it was bad, but I think it's the same for every rider, but it was definitely not as good as it used to be.
And Oli, finally, how are you going to celebrate?
Well, there's not much celebrating. I'm riding in Denmark tomorrow in the Danish Championship, so I'm going to my hotel now, and I think I'll celebrate a bit there with the family, and then we're flying off to Denmark later tonight.
Ole Olsen, new world champion. Congratulations from myself and from Barry Briggs and from all of us at World of Sport. Super show, mate. Well done.
Thanks very much, Dave.